German teachers answer your questions. Lesson number 9. Is sharp S the same as double S in German? Is sharp S the same as double S in German?
And how do I know which one to use?
At GermanPod101.com, we hear these questions often. In the following situation, Barbara Bauer, a kindergarten student, is walking with her dad, Benjamin Bauer. She sees a familiar word and asks, "Can I write Straße with 2 S's?"
Kann ich Straße mit Doppel-S schreiben?
Listen to the full conversation.
Kann ich Straße mit Doppel-S schreiben?
Nein.
Once more with the English translation.
Kann ich Straße mit Doppel-S schreiben?
Can I write Straße with 2 S's?
Nein.
No. The German language contains probably one of the most interesting letters in all alphabets, the sharp S, or in German,
Scharfes S.
many people mistakenly take the sharp S as a form of substituting a double S. Meanwhile, the German sharp S has a different origin. It's not completely clear where it comes from, but we can surely say that it's a combination of 2 S sounds that were used throughout the history of the German language. The sharp S is read as
SZ.
if read as a single letter, or
S.
if read as part of a word. That might be the cause of the overall confusion, and also the fact that, due to the lack of a capital sharp S before, all words such as
ST. R. A. S. S. E.
were written with a double S when spelled in capital letters, but only in this context of writing words all in capital letters is the sharp S exceptionally allowed to be replaced by 2 S's. These days, the Council of German Orthography uses a capital version of the sharp S that was introduced into the rule set of German orthography, allowing people to write words following the proper grammar rules. You might ask yourself now, when should I use the sharp S then? Let's take a closer look at the dialogue. Do you remember how Barbara Bauer says, "Can I write Straße with 2 S's?"
Kann ich Straße mit Doppel-S schreiben?
As we answered before, no, she can't. There are some grammatical rules that require the sharp S to occur. So, we will always use it if a long S sound follows a long vowel or a diphthong. To visualize it better, listen again to the German word for street, and pay extra attention to the first vowel.
Straße.
Got it? Now listen again to another word that has a similar spelling, yet is spelled with a double S instead of a sharp S. It's the German noun for rhinestones.
Strass.
Do you hear the difference? The second word has a short A sound. That's why it's written with a double S. Now, listen to the example where the sharp S follows a diphthong,
Schweiß.
meaning sweat. Here, the letter E and the letter I create a unique sound,
Ei.
which will mark that the following S sound is written with a sharp S. German has 3 diphthongs.
Ei. Oi. Au.
So remember, if there is a long S sound, followed either by a long vowel or a diphthong, you can be sure it's going to be written as an.
SZ.
So far, you've learned that under normal circumstances, the sharp S can't be substituted by a doubled S, and also that a sharp S will always follow a long vowel or a diphthong. Now listen to our examples and try to guess if the word is spelled with a sharp or a double S. Our first example is
Wasser.
meaning water. The A vowel is relatively short, so in this case, we will write a double S. The next example is
Fraß.
meaning animal food. Could you hear how long the vowel sound A was? Our next example is
Heiß.
is an adjective and means hot. As you could hear, we had a diphthong again consisting of an E and an I. The next example is
Messer.
the E vowel is very short here, so it's spelled with a double S. The next example is
Ruß.
meaning soot. Here, we had a long vowel again. And our last example is
Süßigkeiten.
meaning sweets. Here, we have an umlaut before the sharp S, which is considered a vowel in German. The rules you learned today are actually relatively new, and were established as part of the German spelling reform, or
Rechtschreibreform.
from 1996. Before that, the sharp S was used more frequently in the German language, and even words like
Bis, Kuss, Schluss.
were spelled with an.
SZ.
The reform reduced the usage of this letter to the minimum, which caused a big wave of criticism against the Council of German Orthography. Especially intellectuals, including well-known figures like
Günter Grass.
were fighting against the simplifying of the German language, and they pushed the Council of German Orthography to revise some of their changes and reforms throughout the years. There were some major changes to it, like the one in 2006, and some minor ones in the following years. That's why many Germans also don't know when to use a sharp S correctly, particularly if you know someone who finished their education before 1996. You might see a lot of
SZs.
used incorrectly. But remember, the rules that were introduced to you today are the most recent and correct ones, and you should follow them. Do you have any more questions? We're here to answer them.
Tschüsschen.
See you soon.